Hello, today we are making cabbage steaks, and this recipe is really for anyone who says that they don't like cabbage or who lived through that whole cabbage soup days and are now completely traumatized by the thought of cabbage. So this recipe is for you, and I please hope that you try it and let us know if you now change your perception on cabbage, because this is a super wonderful recipe. Great with grilling season coming up. You can have this as a side. You can also do this on the grill. We're doing it in the oven today, but you can also do the same recipe on the grill. So to start, we did both. I did both with, you can do this with green cabbage and also with red cabbage. And what you want to start off with is you want to take off, see how there's kind of like the loose leaves on the cabbage? You do want to kind of peel those off because we don't need those. Then what you want to do is you want to take off the root end. So what we're going to do is you're going to kind of put it on its side, and using your clawed hand and a very sharp knife, you want to take off this bottom part. So you kind of want to go up about an inch just to get that root part off. Just kind of go straight down through here. And this was going to give you a nice flat surface with which to cut your cabbage. So then we just pretty much just sit here and cut through. And you can come down depending on how thick you want your steaks. I tended to do mine a little bit thicker, about 1/2 inch. You can go a little bit thinner, 1/4 inch, depending on what your personal preference is. It's also going to change the cooking time. So I kind of came back here about 1/2 inch, and now we just simply cut right through the entire cabbage. Just kind of keep coming through here, making your slices all the way through the cabbage. And you're also going to notice when you get to this root, let me just cut here and show you what I mean. Here's the kind of the root part. And some people do, remove that to do certain applications with cabbage. I left it in here and I thought it added a lot to the dish. So then what you do here is I have a 1/2 sheet pan. Let me get this out of the way. I have a 1/2 sheet pan, and I drizzled it with some avocado oil. I went pretty liberal on the oil because I wanted to oil both sides. This is about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I just kind of drizzled it. And then you simply just, with your hands, is the easiest, best way to do it, kind of rub it in the oil and then flip it over. And now both sides are oiled. Do that with all these different slices, all the steaks. Do this again. And then flip. And this one with the root part in, which actually it changed the flavor as well. It kind of had a nice, it was tender, but it had a little bit of crunch to it, and it actually has a different flavor than the rest of the cabbage, which I thought was interesting. Once this is all on there, you simply sprinkle this with some salt, and just kind of sprinkle it with some sea salt or some pepper if you want, and just pop it in the oven. I use 325 convection for this, and I went about 20 minutes. If you don't have convection, go at 350 degrees. And again, start your time with 20 minutes. That might be enough for the cabbage to get real tender. It depends again on how wide your slices are. Mine were a little bit higher, were a little bit thicker, so I had to go longer. So one of them probably took about 30 to 40 minutes. So let me show you what it looks like when it's all done. And I actually did both. I did the green cabbage and the red cabbage because I wanted to do a taste test with both of them to see what the differences were. And people actually tended to prefer the red cabbage. It had a little bit stronger flavor. So it might be fun to do both of these, on one tray to see for yourself, which ones you like better. So you can also sprinkle lemon juice on this. You can put different herbs that you have laying around. Fresh parsley would be really nice with this if you had some rosemary, thyme. Just, you can do whatever at this point. Just a great side dish because it's grilling season now. So, you could even do this all on the grill, have your meats and then some cabbage steaks, and have a whole meal just done on that one grill. Also, I was kind of thinking with these, especially these corner pieces, because you can really pick these up in your hands. How fun would this be to put a little bit of sauce on it and some non-dairy cheese, pop it under the broiler, and now you kind of have a handy dandy, very, very healthy, so good for us, low carb, and having, a nice little pizza snack. That might be something fun to try as well. And then I want to show you something interesting about cabbage. So you see when we first started how green the cabbage was, just how green this was. And now when it comes out, it's changed color, and now it's more of a white color. And same thing with this red cabbage. When we first started, when you get red cabbage, it's very almost pink purpley, very bright purple. And when we cooked it, it kind of turned into a deeper purple almost. And you can see on this other side, I'll show you even more so, it actually turned even blue. You can see there kind of more like a bluish color right there. And this is because anthocyanins are a phytochemical in cabbage that leads to this change with change of acidity, it changes the color. So when we started out, you know, the cabbage is kind of hanging out here. And when cooking, you released all those phytochemicals. You also kind of changed it to a more neutral acidity, and now it changed color. And this is also seen in hydrangeas. So when you notice different colors of hydrangeas, it's also because of that acid difference. If it's more acidic, it's going to be more pink. If it's more alkaline, it's going to be more purple. And this tends to be, or blue. So this we can see here is more alkaline, more neutral versus acidic. And so to show you kind of an example of that, so what I did here is I did with my handy dandy TikTok lemon squeezer trick. I had a piece of the cooked cabbage and I actually squeezed some lemon juice on it, and see how it turned it back to pink. So this is also why in a lot of recipes with red cabbage especially, they cook it with an apple, because that apple will bring some acidity to the cabbage and to that dish and keep it more of a bright color. So, and you can also see this if you sliced up raw red cabbage and sprinkled some of it with lemon or lime juice, it's going to change color versus the ones that don't have that acid. So just something interesting, something fun. And, you know, I'm not a chef, so there's like all kinds of a whole different chemistry to cooking, but it is interesting when you actually get to see it live and in person. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. And if you tried this, if you were a cabbage not liker, and now you try this recipe and you say, oh, wow, I really do like cabbage now, please let us know, because we really love to hear from you. And we love it when people try things that maybe they either don't like or thought they didn't like, or like, you know, are kind of down on it and then now try it and, you know, enjoy it. Thanks so much, and hope you enjoy.